Okay, let's talk about Hunter and Amity. Aside from both characters being phenomenal fighters, this episode highlights something that we haven't really talked about. Hunter and Amity have a deep desire to prove their worth. This is something I never really noticed until both characters were placed side by side with a common goal of acquiring Titan's blood for their respective other, Belos and Luz. Amity shares a romantic relationship with Luz, whereas Hunter is Belos' nephew and right-hand man. But despite the differences in their respective relationship, we still see this common thread, a desire to prove oneself. Amity views every situation as an opportunity to prove herself, and considering how she was raised by Mrs. Blight, it's not difficult to see why. Constantly being pushed to be the best, Mrs. Blight gives her approval whenever Amity performs well and scolds her whenever she fails at something. We see this same pattern play out in Hunter's relationship with Belos. Whenever he accomplishes a mission, Belos gives Hunter his approval, and when he fails, he is scolded and threatened. And soon enough, both characters begin to tie their ability to produce a good result to their intrinsic worth as a person. They begin to believe that they're only as worthy as other people in their lives deem them to be, or only as worthy as the results they produce. But this is not the reality of existing as a person. And luckily, Amity comes to that realization that despite the empty lake, throwing the fight with Hunter, and losing the portal key, she is still loved and cared for by the people in her life. And seeing her experience this for the first time was absolutely amazing. She's lived under the expectation of her mother for so long that this lie had become her reality. It had become her norm. But Luz's hug lets her know that regardless of the outcome of the situation, she's loved. This is something that Hunter is yet to experience or understand. We have no idea what Belos' plans for Hunter are, but Hunter's desire to constantly prove his worth has kept him at Belos' side. I hope, just like Amity, that Hunter can break free from this and find people in his life that show him that the result he is or is not able to produce is in no way tied to his worth as a person. To bring this to a close, I will end with a lovely quote from the online user Uncomfortable. We are all of us complicated, multifaceted beings, and worth is inherent in us. It is not for others to bestow that worthiness upon us, nor is it for us to question it of ourselves, but you will feel tempted to do so continuously throughout your life. This may be something you understand on the logical level, but believing it is a lifelong task you will need to work at constantly.